Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your May 2020 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. Now, the scope of this reading is from full moon to full moon, so from May 7th to June 5th, and I have that all laid out here for you. So let's dive into this reading. What I'm going to be doing first is moving your Moonology and your Queen of the Moon cards over to the side. These are going to be layered on top of the tarot to really give you a better understanding of what Luna is saying and really give Luna a voice of her own, the moon a voice of her own, in conjunction with the tarot. So let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Sagittarius be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the May 2020 full moon? Show me clearly. Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. Oh, okay. Fantastic. So, we have that card, that card. We're going to stop here. So we have the moon right at your heart. So the moon is going to have a tremendous impact on you. Knight of Wands. That's you, Sagittarius, coming through. You are a fire sign energy. You're represented by the Wands in the Minor Arcana, by the Temperance card in the Major Arcana. You're also going to be greatly affected by the full moon in, in June? There we go, I can think. By the full moon in June, because this is going to be the full moon in Sagittarius. So you are going to be very impacted by the full moon in Sagittarius, is what I'm seeing here. Temperance, yeah, there you are, coming up twice. Absolutely, positively. The Guardian, which is the Hierophant in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This is Taurus energy, so the new moon in Taurus is also going to have a huge impact on you. The King of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You have the Death card right here, which is a Scorpio energy, and the Seven of Cups, which is the only minor arcana card here, so far, that isn't a court card. You have the Sun, you have the Nine of Cups, brilliant, and you have the Page of Swords. I adore it. I absolutely adore it. Okay, so before we dive into this reading, which the moon really does bring blessings, you're not going to see it, though, all the time. And why that is because right now, you are your harshest critic. For whatever reason, there is this energy around you of looking at what you are taking responsibility for, because or what you're taking responsibility for, what you're putting on your shoulders. It can be things that you say, oh, I'll do that, I'll handle that, don't worry, I got it. And there's like a fraying at the edges where it's like, okay, enough is enough. Take responsibility for what you need and say to other people, okay, now it's time for you to start stepping up too. That's going to be a major thing for others, but also there is this sense here of really looking at what you're feeling guilty about, what you are really taking on yourself, and saying, why? Because this might be things that, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with you, and yet you feel responsible. So that is going to also be very important for this moon. Now, this moon, of course, is in Scorpio, and the new moon is in Taurus, and then we have the full moon in June in Sagittarius. So this is a time where you are really connected with your emotions. This is also a time of tremendous compassion. So what we start off with here is power and the surrendering to the divine, which is what the full moon is. The full moon is also kind of the spotlight on how we've lived the last lunar cycle. So you're really looking at things and you're being tremendously honest with yourself, actually a little bit too honest with yourself. And that's where you're taking on too many responsibilities. That's why you're taking on guilt for things that maybe you shouldn't feel guilty for. Things here that you're looking at, you are actually shining forward towards transformation, towards the power of transformation to guide you forward. There's also a very strong connection here with the sacred darkness. And the sacred darkness can be perceived as Jung's shadow self. And so here, as you are looking at the darkness, as you are looking at the pains, the disappointments, the hurts, but also, okay, that's one aspect of darkness. But also, it is the darker side of human nature. It is the side that we don't want to, own up to, or to say that, or maybe it really, oh, that's interesting. Okay, so what Spirit is saying is that it even feels inappropriate to say that you have these emotions, which, is is absolutely true. We're not supposed to talk about jealousies. We're not supposed to talk about betrayals. We're not supposed to talk about fears and hates and our suspicions and the secrets that we keep. We're not supposed to talk about any of those. I mean, if you're keeping secrets, you don't want to talk about them at all, right? But there's a sense where this can become a brooding obsession, okay, during this time, because we're really looking into the darker side of our human nature. And if we don't sit there and say, I accept it, I accept that I am capable of being a tyrant and a peacekeeper. And because of both these, a benevolent ruler and an absolute, tyrant, you're going to see that if you don't accept these two aspects of yourself, which can be very hard because it can go against the nature that you have or even the teachings that you were brought up with. You're supposed to be kind, you're supposed to be good, you're supposed to be quiet, you're supposed to be accepting, these type of things. You're going to find that if you don't accept it, the transformation that you're going through, you'll feel very incomplete. And it's rather intense. This is very intense for you. I mean, you have so many major arcana cards here that there's no way that this can't be an intense time. And why you want to accept and, understand the two aspects of yourself, but also these two aspects of divine consciousness, is because you are attracting to yourself what it is that you are emotionally focusing on. So this says emotions are running high. And this is attraction. So this is our supermoon. This is our last supermoon in a series of 4 supermoons. So here, again, it's just strongly attracting to ourselves what is needed, not what we want. That is completely different, but what is needed, and that's intense. It leads us to a blossoming of ourselves, a coming together with what we desire, what we need, what we want, what we're understanding, because this is the flower full moon. And it's really rather beautiful, but it's also severely intense. And this full moon, of course, is in Scorpio, and it says it's time to release negativity. And that's what you're going to find about this moon and about the power that you are embracing. It's time to release the negativity and to walk into a compassionate understanding. Will you always be in a compassionate understanding? Will you never have negativity in your life again? No, absolutely not. This is saying that as you're walking forward, you're claiming power, you're claiming truth, and you're claiming you. And you're not leaving behind, because our scars are always with us. It's kind of like when you break a bone, and sometimes when it gets cold or when it gets rainy or, usually cold and rainy, that bone aches. This is what it is. You will always have those aches with you, but they will not be in the forefront. They will not be crippling, is what I'm seeing. And that's really important. And then it moves you to the new moon. Ooh, sorry, my nose itches. Okay, so before we move to the new moon in Taurus, we have the full moon in Scorpio. And the full moon in Scorpio has a void of course at 10:39 p.m. So at 10:39 p.m., you're going to find that things go pear-shaped. That what you sit there and you think, oh, okay, this conversation will go this way, or I'll be able to get this bunch of work done this way, or I'll be able to catch up on things like this. It just doesn't happen. Everything goes almost the complete opposite of the way you want it to. During this time, during the Scorpio full moon, if you can be asleep, that would be ideal. If you can't be, sit on the couch, have a cup of tea, a glass of wine, whatever it is, cocoa, whatever it is that you like, and just breathe. Just breathe, read a book, watch TV, sit quietly, do not engage. You might find that a lot of interruptions come, but if you can be almost in a meditative, calm state, that's really going to help you. All right? Now, if you're asleep during this time, you're going to find that your dreams become they very much hit the nail on the head of what you're supposed to be seeing, on what things like are tripping you up. So just pay attention to your dreams. And the void, of course, for the new moon on May 22nd is at 4:01 a.m. So here, if you're asleep during this time, again, remember, your dreams are going to have a lot of knowledge to them. If you're not asleep and if you're up, something that you can do that just doesn't engage is going to be absolutely beneficial. During this time, I would take out the whole hour. I would do from 3:30 to 4:30 for the Taurus new moon, for the void, of course, then. And for the the Scorpio full moon, Sagittarius, I would take out from 10 to 11:30. There we go. Just had to remember my times. There we are. So here with the new moon in Taurus, prosperity lies ahead. And that's going to be something you're really seeing. And that's going to be something that really drives you forward because your prosperity lies ahead and you know it. And then this leads you to beginnings. This leads you to embracing the winter and the summer of yourself. So again, that darkness and that light is moving you forward. And you're seeing that you have an archway, a bridge to both of these understandings. And with this, you have a new start is coming. You have a new sense of understanding, a new sense of awareness of what you desire, what you want, how you're moving forward. And this leads you to a very solid foundation. Oh my goodness. When you enter into your very own full moon in June, because you have the full moon in Sagittarius, which is you looking at the bigger picture, what you desire, what you want, the full scope of things is going to be profoundly important to you. So here you're looking at the bigger picture, and this is also a time of extremes. Now we have the extremes in this Scorpio full moon that come forward, but here, what's very interesting in the Queen of the Moon cards, this is of course called extremes, and this is the hot moon. We're talking about extremes in the hot moon, but in the almanac, the moon is called the strawberry moon. And so there's a sweetness to this moon. There's a beauty to this moon. And in old European names for this moon are the honey moon and the mead moon. So again, it denotes sweetness. So you have emotional extremes, you have intensity of passion, which definitely plays into the fire sign and the fiery nature of Sagittarians. But you are going to see here that there's sweetness in the extremes. And you just do not want to be engulfed by them. All right? Now the spirit animals for May are the beaver spirit and the elk spirit. I do not have an elk in my cards, but I do have an antelope, which is standing in rather majestically. So the beaver spirit says, lay a solid foundation. The beaver spirit and the beaver totem also represent ingenuity, persistence, and achievement. You have all these qualities to achieve what you want, to move forward in your power. And then with the antelope spirit, with the elk, this is strength and stamina guides you, and you have tremendous endurance. So you have strength, you have stamina, you have endurance, and you're going to need to incorporate patience with relationships. Now, I know that's probably the last thing that you want to hear because we've been through a lockdown and everything like that, quarantining, and it's like we've had to already have tremendous patience in our relationships. But here it's kind of like, okay, still more understanding, still more patience, because a lot is going on. But as you embrace these patience, and as you embrace your own strength, your own stamina, your own ability to move forward, and your endurance to kind of handle a lot for a long period of time, what I'm seeing here is that you're like a longer distance runner. All right? And what I'm seeing is you're going to want to pace yourself, because if you give all your energy right at the beginning, you're going to find that you can't move forward towards the end as swiftly and as profoundly as you want to. So just keep that in mind, Sagittarius. And then here with the antelope spirit, it says life is speeding up. And that's definitely something you're going to see. As you're embracing what you desire, as you're moving forward, you find that life is speeding up. And this moves you to the spirit animals of June, which are going to be very impactful for you because you have this passion, you have this desire that you are embracing the deer spirit, where it says bring a gentle touch. And you're going to see that as much as you have this endurance, you're going to want to bring a gentle touch to the situation. You're going to want things to be calm and to be steady. But the duality of your nature during this time, and the duality of almost everybody's nature during this time, is the light and the dark. So you have the herbivore and you have the carnivore here. So you have the grass eater and the meat eater kind of coming forward. And as you do, it's like, okay, bring a gentle touch, but also, go for the goal and go for it. So you're going to have both those emotions coming forward. You have spirit having your back, which is what the eagle spirit says, but also with the deer spirit, you're going to find that gentleness does not mean defenselessness, that you are brave and you are strong when you need to be, but that you don't always need to bring that bravado to the table. And that as you embrace peace and tranquility, you are going to bring forth a natural beauty and a degree of innocence to your life that is absolutely beneficial. With the eagle spirit is like A++, right? So here, and just like the elk spirit, A++. So here, with the eagle spirit, the eagle can fly higher than any other bird. So it's man's connection to the divine. So you have that connection to the divine as you're moving forward. So that's why it says here, spirit has your back. But also, the only predator that is a better sight hunter than us humans are birds of prey. So you have not only a bird here, a spirit totem, a totem animal that can fly higher than you, can reach greater heights than you, but you also have one that can see things more clearly than you can. That's going to be highly beneficial in June. Listen to this totem animal. As you move forward, you're going to be focusing on freedom and on courage and on the importance of honesty and thoughtfulness. It leads you to the moon. It leads you to the beauty that this moon possesses. It leads you to the fears that this moon brings forward. And it leads you to power. And that's what it does. Now, the moon card is also a Pisces energy. This is a time frame of February 19th to March 20th. But there is a sense here. Okay. So with the moon brings up fear. Kind of like the primordial fear of the dark. Why? Because we're sight hunters. We need light. And you have here the sun and the moon in the same line. Right? You have a line right here, all of major arcana cards, which is highly intense. This is going to be a highly intense time. I cannot stress that enough for you. So here, when you have the sun and the moon coming together, you have the dark and the light, which you can say the sacred darkness and the sacred light. And you're finding the balance, the temperance, the harmony of your truth, of the essence of your soul between the two of these. And this is going to be a time where you feel like I don't want to waste a moment, a minute. This is important. And it's going to be a time where you can really kind of just embrace absolutely beautiful things as you move forward in this light and in this beauty. The moon here is calling to you. You will find that at night or as the moon rises, okay, you feel called to it. You feel like you see things a bit more clearly. And the moon can rise, still during the day. So here, just know that. Just know that that energy is going to be around you. That power is a part of you. There's also a sense here, as with Pisces energy, that you can achieve anything once you surpass your fears. And it doesn't mean you don't have them, okay? It doesn't mean like all of a sudden you become just like the most courageous, bold person in the whole entire world without any fears, because that's actually dangerous. What you see here is that you have your fears. You have the things where you're like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. And some of the things you listen to, it's like, okay, this is my line, I'm not crossing it. But also, you are seeing what you need to push yourself towards, what you need to overcome in order to enter that next stage. Because this is a transformative, powerful time, a time of reclaiming power, of stepping into the light of that has been hidden from our psyche, that has been hidden from ourselves. And as we step into that light, you have the Nine of Cups here. Sweetness, joy, prosperity, bounty, beauty, love awaits. And it just does. And you might be sitting there and saying, Dean, that's a nice fairy tale, but it's not for me. Okay, that's fair. You might not be ready for it. But there is a sense here of radiance shining from you. There's a sense here that you get messages from your angels, right? And there's a sense here that beauty is a part of you. Others may see it more easily in you than you see it yourself. Sagittarius, you will get to the point that you see it. You just have to keep on focusing on your beauty and your truth. And beauty is not what you look at when you look into the mirror. The beauty is when you look into your eyes and there's a spark there. So it may not be what everybody sees instantaneously. It's deeper and it's more. And there can be the fear that the true you shining brightly would be rejected. And that's not the case. No. You may be rejected by some. Yeah, they might not understand. They might be angry. You don't know what's going on in people's minds, and they have their own dramas. Let them have their stories. Let them have the narrative of their life that is overwhelming. Move forward in your truth. And as you move forward in your truth, or at least in what is true for you right now. Because you might sit there and say, but Dean, I don't know my truth. I don't know how I want to move forward. You can break it down into really little things. Everybody wants to be happy, right? You do have those people who really love being miserable, and, everybody knows those type of people. But here the truth is happiness, joy, prosperity, beauty. And saying, I have the right to defend this, to move forward in it, to have this passion ignite me, to guide me, to burn brightly inside of me. And this is what is happening here, Sagittarius. You are finding this passion guides you, burns brightly within you, moves you forward, and you're embracing it. You're looking at it, you're understanding it, and you're being guided by it. This is also your instinctual knowledge. Now, this can also be a fiery nature coming forward, which isn't always looked at positively, right? So a fiery nature can be getting angry quickly, but a fiery nature can also be being very passionate about things, very exuberant about them. So you want to balance it out. And so here, as you move forward, because you are a defender of your happiness, your joy, your prosperity, what you desire to create within your life, and as you move forward, you embrace this beauty, you embrace this understanding, and you let it shine brightly within you. And as it shines brightly within you, it warms you. It's like the core of the earth. It warms you. It moves you forward. It's like the sun. And so here you have the sun, you have transformation, you have strength, you have a dawning of a new day, and you have yourself seeing happiness, seeing joy, maybe in little places, in little ways. Maybe you wake up to the birds singing, and that brings a smile to your face, right? Maybe you watch a sunset, and that brings a smile to your face, or a sunrise. It doesn't have to be anything big. It's just taking note of the little things and saying, okay, beauty's here, and beauty's with me. Now, when the sun comes in, all right, when happiness and joy and success and prosperity start to come into your life, especially here, since in this triangle, it's like all you, all right? So at the tip of the triangle, the Temperance, and then at the base, the Knight of Wands and the Sun card, you're going to find that people can get a bit jealous. People can be like, well, why do you deserve this and not me? Again, that's their issue. What you are going to have a tendency to do during this time, Sagittarius, is want to take responsibility for everybody, for everything. And that's just going to be too much. It's actually going to set you up for failure. So just be very mindful of that. Be very mindful of embracing your happiness, your joy, your dawning of the sun, all right? And at your roots, you have an air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But this is also your truth, all right? You are being a king and a seeker of your truth. You're going to find that this is an excellent time for moving towards greater mysteries, for moving towards what you truly want. And with the King of Swords, you are claiming your throne, you are putting the crown on your head, and you are slicing through doubts, fears, lies, hatreds, hurts, things like that have held you back. And the thing with having roots in the swords, air sign energy, sword energy, can be seen as being a bit blunt at times, a bit kind of too much, right? The King of Swords, the Queen of Swords. And that's because there's a clear-sightedness, but there's also a cutting to the heart of the matter. So when an air sign energy wants to strike, or you have this air sign energy in you that wants to strike, it can strike right at a person's weakest point and do so without caring, without it's kind of like, well, this just needs to be. And you might care, but you're like, it has to be said anyway. So here, that's going to be your roots. It's like clear thinking, clear-sightedness. It can seem a little bit sharp to other people, but you're on a mission. And that mission is your own greatness. That mission is your purpose, your power, your understanding. And as you embrace this mission, you have the worldliness and the wisdom of the king, and you have the innocence and the curiosity of the child, of the student. And it leads you to the Scorpio energy, which is also the energy of the new moon, not the new moon, the full moon that we are in. And the Scorpio energy is a dying away of the old self, a rebirth of the new. It is sitting there and knowing that as we live and as we grow, we will never be who we once were. And there is a bit of upsetment with that, but there is this absolute necessary truth of I need to evolve. And as we evolve as human beings, we go through stages where you sit there and you look back at your life and you're like, I did not like that stage. If you're in that stage right now, you know it. You're like, I would rather walk on glass than go through that stage again. Which is, fair, most definitely. We all have stages of that in our lives. And so here, what you are finding is that the hardships, the pains, the disappointments, the things that you have gone through that have forged you. And I'm really talking about forging here, because when a sword is being made or iron is being forged, right, it is pounded down. If there's an imperfection in that iron, it can crack, it can break. And so here, with the death card, you are looking at what has cracked within you, but also what you have needed to give away, needed to release. And as you do so, you move towards what you love. You move towards a transformation that almost seems, let me see it right here. Oh, I love that, the butterfly. I just noticed that right in her face. That seems just absolutely beautiful. And again, it draws you to the sacred darkness and the sacred light. It draws you to the sense of the tyrant and the benevolent ruler. And that you have that power within you. And you're seeing it more and more. Because this death right here is the death of being a victim, of feeling as if your life is in somebody else's control. And so as we move forward, as we evolve from, child to adult, we get to claim the power of our lives and of ourselves. And as we do so, you're going to see that you have this transformation here. And you are then guided by your traditions, your truths, your power. Scorpio energy is a time frame of October 23rd to November 21st. Taurus energy is a time frame of April 20th to May 20th. Yeah, there we go. And so with the guide and in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is the Hierophant, you are going to find that you're crowned by a queen and your inner child lives within. Okay, needs to be nurtured, needs to be understood, needs to be listened to. And as you're moving forward, during this time, you're going to find that you can't walk away from what's truly important to you, from what are your true values. And so as you're moving forward, you're embracing them and saying, this is my truth. This is where I stand. And as you embrace your truth, you start to speak your truth. And it can be really hard to speak your truth, right? So one of the things that you can say to your mind is, instead of, okay, I'm going to speak my truth, is I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say, oh, this matters to me when it really doesn't. You can be very, very tactful about things, most definitely, and little white lies are okay, but it's moving forward with integrity and purpose. And that's what you're really embracing here. And as you do so, you have love, joy, and prosperity coming to your life. And you have this sense of wonderment, this sense of the beginner's mind, of looking at things not with preconceived notions or preconceived understandings, but with this sense of, I am here to learn, and I'm going to learn all that I can. And it leads you to the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is a warning against daydreaming. Daydreaming is so easy and it's so fun, isn't it? But it's saying, do not have your life wasted in daydreams. Look at what you desire and what you want. Visualize it. Use your mind as the powerful tool that it is to see, to understand, and to embolden you forward. And as you start visualizing, as you see it, you are emboldened, you are brave, you are powerful, right? And the first place that you start to see that is within your own mind, because the first place you conquer the world is between your ears, is within your mind. And then as you do that, you'll see, like when you're visualizing things, you'll see certain fears come up. Oh, what about this? What if they laugh at me? What if this happens? What if that happens? And you can start facing those fears. In your mind, you could actually visualize yourself completely failing. What would that be like? What would it be like to lose everything? And you might sit there and say, Dane, I don't want to visualize that, because that then could happen. Well, it could happen anyway. It could happen anyway, even if you're never ever thinking about it. And so here, with the Seven of Cups, you realize that your mind is a powerful, powerful, powerful tool. You might already have known this, but now that you are truly embracing it, you are going to see at how powerful you can actually be. And you will not be held back. It brings you to the essence of you: balance, understanding, beauty, serenity, the eagle in the corner. Spirit has your back, and that is going to be a powerful truth for you. It brings you towards what you love, towards what you desire and need. towards the balance you want, and that balance that comes into your life, because even here, she has a yin and a yang on her forehead. The balance of the masculine and the feminine comes forward, is within her, and is embodied by her, and that brings to light and love and joy and happiness, success and beauty. Happiness. Happiness that makes you feel free. How will Sagittarius be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the May 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. Oh, goodness, okay. So wisdom was just like, I'm here. Yeah. The masculine is going to be an important aspect of your consciousness during this time. And it doesn't mean to, it doesn't mean that you have to have a whole bunch of men around you, or you have to be absolutely, a machismo type of person. It means that there is this strength and definitiveness to you, and kind of like this physicality. So here it is a claiming of that strength. It is a knowing of that truth. And that's why you have the king energy at your roots. You have that fire burning within you. And you need it. You need it to have you move forward the way that you want to. How will Sagittarius be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the May 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. This is a very strong moon for you. You have Scorpio and you have Taurus shining here. Yeah. So this moon going all the way to your moon in June is going to be an astoundingly powerful, intense moon. So we start with wisdom. The moon brings you wisdom. It has you looking at your divine connection. It has you looking at the past lunar cycles. It has you looking at what you want, what you fear, what you desire, and what you're reaching for. It turns your knowledge into wisdom. But it doesn't turn your knowledge into wisdom. You turn your knowledge into wisdom and are empowered and emboldened by this truth. Because wisdom is what you live by. Knowledge is what you accumulate. It then leads you to your commitment being tested, to what you love, to what you want, to the beauty coming in. Can you see it? Can you see it, and do you know it within yourself? You are growing whether you want to or not. You are charging forward, moving forward, and there is a part of you here that wants to kind of put on the brakes. And that is a valid want, but it's not going to be listened to by the universe. Okay? Your resistance is here, and your resilience is that even though she's trying to close her hand over the forest grows through anyway. You grow anyway, and you move forward with passion, commitment, and determination. It leads you to knowing conclusions are within reach as the happiness comes. And as the happiness comes and the conclusions are within reach and you feel contented, you nourish your mind. And your clear thinking nourishes you. And you know that your dreams need practical plans. So you have this childlike innocence, this childlike curiosity. But you also want practicality. And that's what you're nourishing during this time. Clear-sighted practicality. Boundaries are being tested, but they're also being understood. And as they are tested and understood, and as you grow and evolve in the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, the transformative self comes forward. Expect powerful change as you call on the power of yourself. As you look at what is innately and absolutely important to you. And as you see it, you know that your commitment is being tested, and you know that your dreams need a practical plan. And the masculine energy comes out within you. And it says, focus on the here and the now. It's kind of like, you know, when you're talking to your boyfriend or husband or a guy friend, or if you're a guy and you're sitting there and you're like, I gave really practical advice and she just didn't listen to me. That's like the energy that's coming through here. It's so funny. It's like, I have practical advice. You need to hear it. And that's what this moon is giving you. It's giving you some sort of practical advice. Listen. Because you're working through your fears and you're finding your balance. And this is huge for you because the fears and the overcoming of fears is right at your heart. Scorpio and Taurus, intense time for you. Intense time. The conclusions are within reach. But your commitments are being tested. So stand your ground and know your truth. And know how you define yourself, because it's powerful. Your subconscious Luna message here is the answers you need are coming. The answers you need are coming. Right? Be willing to hear them, because you might not like them. And your subconscious message for this whole entire time is the Two of Wands. Looking at the future, looking at what you desire, what you want, and seeing that it's obtainable. All right, Sagittarius, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. Be safe. Have a blessed moon, and I love you all. Bye.